What do Cobra, Mars Industries, and the Iron Grenadiers all have in common? War Master! No wait, that was his prototype name. It's Destro! Let's talk about him. But before we do, I want to thank you, whether it's your first time here or you're back for more for watching the channel. It's through the community that we've built here together that I find the drive to keep uploading new content. And I do upload new videos just like this each and every week. So thank you. Let's jump into the video. The Laird, known as James McCullen, Destro the 24th, was born in Callander, Scotland. Laird of Castle Destro, which is located in the Highlands of Scotland. Destro and the Destro clan come from a long lineage of weaponsmiths, war masters, and blacksmiths. In the 1600s, the War of the Three Kingdoms ravaged Scotland, England, and Ireland. During this time, Oliver Cromwell ruled the British Isles and as Lord Protector under King Charles I. One of Destro's ancestors was caught by Cromwell and charged with war profiteering. He was trying to sell weapons to both sides of the conflict. Not wanting to lose their weapon supplier, Cromwell ordered this Destro's ancestor to wear a steel mask as punishment instead of killing him. And from that point forward, the wearing of the mask became a point of pride and heritage for the Destro clan, the tradition having been passed all the way down to our 24th. Modern-day Destro wears a metal mask forged from beryllium steel. In 1752, the Destro clan founded a foundry which would evolve into Mars Industries, a weapons manufacturer and supplier. Action Force continuity traces the Destro lineage back even further, back to pre-17th century, the Crusades, and a castle they built in the 13th century in the Balkans, which is a region of southeastern Europe. Young Destro enjoyed the privilege that his affluent family, flush with generational wealth earned via Mars. As heir to the empire, Destro would often shadow his father and accompany him on business trips. These business trips, though, were arms deals. On one trip, they went to Vietnam to sell weapons and supplies to the South Vietnamese, but it turned out they were Viet Cong, North Vietnamese in disguise. Anastasia and Eugen de Cobra also happened to be in the city delivering medical supplies to the same Viet Cong. Well, it looked like Snake Eyes took them out and killed Eugen in the process. Destro would tell her years later, once Anastasia had fully become the Baroness, that ballistics tests proved Snake Eyes did not actually kill her brother. He went to academy in Edinburgh, where he once saw the Baroness as a fellow student. They would meet and talk often, but in panels, so to speak, while fencing. During their ensuing courtship, he says that she can call him Cully. They were together, infatuated with each other, and also involved in political activism, protests, and dissidence in between classes. Once his father died, Destro became the head of Mars Industries. He held himself to the highest of standards, wanting to uphold the ideals and honor of his family. The flip side of that, though, is that Destro sold his weapons and tech to the highest bidder, including the criminal organization known as Cobra. In fact, Destro became the chief weapons supplier for Cobra and Cobra Commander, but it was a relationship built upon necessity. Cobra Commander didn't trust Destro at all, and Destro could not stand Cobra Commander's inefficiency and apparent incompetence. But Cobra Commander needed the weapons, and Destro liked the money. So they continued on. Destro's first appearance in comic books is with the 11th issue of Larry Hama's A Real American Hero series for Marvel Comics, and in the issue, Cobra Commander sent Destro to Alaska to stop the G.I. Joe team from ruining his plans to attack the oil pipeline. Commander introduced him to the Baroness, saying he's the counterpart to General Flagg and Destro is akin to Hawk, but she says, "We've already met, Commander." Indeed, she's had history with him from years before. We see parts of him, shadows and limbs, and it wouldn't be until issue 14 when we learn his name and his own motivations, which are that he wants the Baroness by his side to rule over Cobra once they take out Cobra Commander. He had the Baroness no longer refer to him as Cully, but by his new name, Destro. To prevent the takeover from happening, Cobra Commander hired a mercenary named Major Blood, with whom he contracted to kill Destro. In a conflict with G.I. Joe, Major Blood found his opportunity. He was about to fire upon Destro's HISS tank in Washington, D.C., when the Baroness saw him and crashed right into him. She stopped him, but was critically injured in the process when her own vehicle exploded. While the Baroness was in Switzerland at the Bern Institute of Reconstructive Surgery, Major Blood decided to blackmail Cobra Commander. He said he would tell Destro of the plot on his life. Destro thought he had lost the Baroness, so he had gone off to Silent Castle to mourn, and not long after this, Major Blood showed up with a now recovered Baroness, and she told him what Cobra Commander had been plotting. So the three of them decided to team up to take down Cobra Commander and take over Cobra for themselves. To get to Cobra Commander, though, they'd need to go through his ninja bodyguard, Storm Shadow. Destro hired Wild Weasel and Firefly to track down Storm Shadow, but they were led to the Florida Everglades and the headquarters of another mercenary named Zartan. The thing is, the G.I. Joe team was also tracking Cobra elements in the area, and the opposing forces were drawn into a firefight among the banyan trees and palms and marshy wetlands of the Everglades. Destro and Firefly were left behind as Cobra Commander escaped in Destro's Rattler. While Firefly and Destro were assaulting Snake Eyes' High Sierra cabin, Baroness and Major Blood had formulated their own plan to assassinate Cobra Commander. They were going to use Billy Kessler, Cobra Commander's own son, to gun him down. Destro went back to Cobra headquarters and learned of this plot, and it was Destro who stopped Billy. His honor and family ties, not wanting that mission to go through. Destro presided over Billy's trial to control the narrative and actually to protect Baroness and Major Blood from being exposed. Destro decided that even though he did not like Cobra Commander, his loyalty superseded his contempt. So he tried to stop Billy from escaping with Storm Shadow. He still wanted to take over Cobra, mind you, but not by way of murder. Eventually, the evil former dentist, Dr. Mindbender, decided to sell his battle android troopers to Cobra. Little did he know, though, was that the components in the bats were made by Mars Industries, Destro's company. Soon after this, Mindbender teamed up with Destro and the Baroness to steal DNA from history's famous leaders, dignitaries, and military strategists in order to create a new ruler for Cobra. This new creation would be called Serpentor. Just as Serpentor came to life, the G.I. Joe team assaulted the town of Springfield, where Destro and Mindbender were with their new creation. In retaliation, Cobra Commander, Serpentor, and Destro and their forces assaulted the pit and ran it over with Cobra forces. The only recourse was for Generals Hollingsworth and Ryan, along with Admiral Dyson, to blow up the pit. And they did. It was a massive fireball that collapsed the entire complex down upon the two Cobra leaders, now thought to be perished. But they survived, and eventually found their way out of the rubble. Soon thereafter, Destro headed back to his castle in Scotland. Someone posing as him took him captive and put him in a jail cell. And this imposter later turned out to be Major Blood. But Lady J and Flint happened to be there to steal the blueprints for the new Terradromes, and they said that they would help free him in exchange for those plans. Destro stepped away from Cobra around this time, now wanting to focus on himself and his family business. The thing is, with Serpentor now at the head of Cobra, they became direct competitors. Serpentor was selling Terradromes to any nation, warlord, or despot with enough cash. The South American country of Sierra Gordo was in political turmoil. Serpentor sold a Terradrome to one side of the conflict, and Destro, not wanting Serpentor to have the quote-unquote win, aided the opposing forces. He ramped up his pipeline of weapons and advanced military tech and turned his army of personal guards into his own private military force, now called the Iron Grenadiers. Cobra then split into factions, some aligning with Serpentor, some remaining loyal to Cobra Commander. The Baroness became enamored with Serpentor, but Destro stayed on Commander's side. During the Cobra Civil War that erupted on Cobra Island shortly thereafter, Destro assaulted the beachhead just off the Cobra airstrip by setting his Iron Grenadiers loose from his personal cruise ship anchored just offshore. After the battle, Destro negotiated for the release of Baroness, who had been tied to the front of a HISS tank for a large part of the war. It was very Mad Max of her. He then, ever the honorable man, chose to help the Joes as they were now being blamed for helping Serpentor during Civil War. He actually showed up at the hospital with receipts to prove that General Mathis had bought weapons and tech from Mars to support G.I. Joe's aid to Serpentor during the Civil War. Thus they were exposed, and the Joes were exonerated. When the Baroness and Destro went back to Castle Destro, Baroness told him that Cobra Commander was actually Fred 7. Using this knowledge, he was finally able to take control of Cobra. While in control, he revealed to Baroness that Snake Eyes was not her brother's killer. This prompted Baroness to want to leave it all behind, but Destro, not wanting to lose her again, said he would give up anything, even his family mask, to be with her. And he did exactly this, and he left his cousin Darklon in charge of Mars Industries while he and Baroness retired to Castle Destro. But during the retirement, the original Cobra Commander returned. OGCC captured and killed all his enemies, rivals, and betrayers. He captured Baroness and put out a bounty on Destro. Commander still sought revenge on everyone, and so he attacked and destroyed Castle Destro. Destro, though, had a spy named Metalhead at Cobra who told him of the attack, so he was able to escape with help from Chuckles. But in the escape, Baroness was captured by Cobra Commander, and he put out another bounty on Destro. Chuckles was able to use his old agency contacts in the area to ditch the helo that they'd used to escape, get them out of the country. He had to team up with Chuckles, Billy, and Zartan, along with Ninja Force, to break into the Night Creepers' headquarters. Destro said he was going to use their headquarters control room to wipe out the entirety of Cobra's bank accounts, unless he cleared the bounty and gave him a new castle and returned Baroness to him. The new castle he got was Silent Castle in Transcarpathia, where the Red Ninjas and Slice and Dice had been living. This is when it's revealed that yes, Cobra Commander did release the Baroness back into his custody, but he gave her a subliminal implant that, when triggered, would make her kill Destro. He basically made Silent Castle into a copy of Castle Destro and decided to live there and retired. And yes, he did break her free of her hypnotic suggestions. Later, Cobra Commander decided that he wanted to retake the castle for himself, which drove Destro and her out of the castle once again. Anyway, he went to Zartan for help. When Cobra Commander was busy, they used the opportunity to retake the castle again. Exchange hands, went back and forth many times. Cobra's later campaign gave Destro control of Transcarpathia, Darklonia, Barigia Krosny, and some surrounding lands. Snake Eyes attacked the castle to get Storm Shadow out, but saw that he, Billy, and the Baroness had once again been brainwashed to service Cobra. And as the series came to a close and the G.I. Joe team was deactivated in issue 155, Destro was once again under the control of Cobra, although they all went to ground defeated. In the Devil's Due continuity that followed, Destro had a long-lost son named Alexander McCullen, where Alexander, posing as Destro, wanted to take control of the family business, the Iron Grenadiers, and the Cobra network itself. He had this entire plot with the Baroness and Mistress Armada to do just that. Then back in Homoverse, Destro made a grand reappearance in canon when Duke, Scarlet, Snake Eyes, and the Joes invaded Silent Castle. In the firefight in issue 159, we get to see Destro unleash a flurry of fire from his wrist rockets. In issue 162, Destro, Cobra Commander, and the Baroness decided to drive a maggot tank right up the New Jersey Parkway to Broca Beach. And around this time, the Baroness was captured once more. Destro wanted to rescue her, citing the Joes and how they'll leave no one behind, but Cobra Commander says that they're all expendable. Instead, Destro went to Zartan for help. His helmet here is enhanced and actually gave him a tactical advantage now, more than just being a ancient ceremonial item. They figured out where Baroness was, and Destro used his flying despoiler to smash it and break her out. Somehow, base protocols and security were not enough to keep out one guy in a floating wheelchair. In issue 166, Destro and the Baroness have an argument with Cobra Commander, and so they leave in a submarine filled with Iron Grenadiers, which is when Cobra Commander then sent out the hydrofoils to attack the sub, although they ran into the G.I. Joe team and had a fight. This is the first time that we've actually seen the Iron Grenadiers in print, in canon, since 1991. In 167, both Darkline and Sergeant Major returned, but they were both killed by Destro when Castle Destro was blown up. In the next issue, he and the Baroness did a flyover of the Chrysler building in New York City to the Night Creepers, who were about to storm the building along with Firefly and Crystal Ball for General Colton's office. So in 170, Cobra Commander tells Destro that Darklon was in a protective bunker when the castle went up, and that's how he survived. By issue 180, we learned that a rogue agent working inside Mars Industries stole a Krytron device, a nuclear trigger. Destro then went back to Castle Destro with the Baroness and revealed his inner chamber to her, his sanctum sanctorum, if you will, and he tells her that the last non-Destro to see it was a pretender to the throne of England, which we talked about at the beginning of this video. Darklon went to meet Colonel Faroud in Benzine to make a deal for the nuclear trigger, except the Joes were tipped off, and also Baroness and Destro showed up. Destro once again used his wrist rockets and fired a salvo at Faroud's ground forces, decimating them right on the first floor of the palace. Well, the plan backfired because Destro showing up confirmed to Faroud that the Krytron was real. He wouldn't have shown up if it wasn't real. Oh, but there's more. Destro went to do a nuclear trigger deal with Benzine's neighbor in Trucial-Abysmia, but the devices wouldn't work. Destro was satisfied that the idea of mutually assured destruction would keep the two countries at bay, and the world was a little safer. His gift to the world. So then Destro returned to his castle. Cobra Commander decided to hold Zarana hostage to force Zartan to kill Destro. Zartan went to the castle and fought Baroness with swords. Right when he was gonna kill her, Destro showed up and said, "Here, take my mask. Tell Commander I'm dead." So they turned the tables on Cobra Commander, saying they chose to keep Commander alive, but they could blow him up anytime, even on the toilet. It was a crappy situation for Cobra Commander. In 217, Destro and the Baroness are in Malta when they run into Hawk's team. Destro used a hidden entrance in the castle to barge in and threaten Cobra Commander with a toaster. Now, they wanted to be back with Cobra again. In issue 224, Destro, Baroness, and the Iron Grenadiers assaulted Silent Castle. They fought their way in past blue ninjas, and once they did, Cobra Commander detonated the entire castle. But hey, people have survived the castle destruction before, and they did. And once out, Destro got a cybernetic upgrade. Now he had robot hands, courtesy of both Mars and Revanche technology. In 245, Baroness and Cobra Commander and Destro were on a mini golf course hanging out and just putting around, chatting, having a good time. Baroness called Destro Cully once again after recounting their fencing all those years ago. She finally used something other than the Destro name. In issue 254, Destro used his wrist rockets again. I love when he does that. He's in Kur, a place bordering Trucial-Abysmia, to broker an arms deal with Sheikh Ali. The Sheikh's brother attacked the facility where they were while they were there with a hind and new bats. In 259, Destro, Baroness, and the Iron Grenadiers staged an assault and hostage takeover of Revanche Robotics. A firefight ensued, with them battling a hive mind of robots in Alpha 001 Prime. They keep trying to take out Alpha Prime but fail and become drones of the hive mind themselves, and in issue 264 extends the drone takeover to the entire Iron Grenadier army. In 265, Drone Destro and Beta 97 ran into Lightfoot and Lowlight in the water tunnels beneath Revanche, but some white phosphorus and thermite kept them from capturing the two Joes. And in 269, it was Zartan who snuck into Revanche to free Destro and the Baroness from Revanche control. And that's how we leave Destro in comic book continuity. Very much a focal point of the current modern plotlines, and so he will remain for the foreseeable future. In Action Force under IPC, the Red Jackal was a guy named Anton Nobokov, second only to Baron Ironblood. His figure by Palatoy, however, was a repaint of the Destro mold, and he came with a Hyena tank, which was a HISS tank in the United States. Eventually, as IPC was bought out and the line moved from Action Force to align more with the US G.I. Joe counterpart, although under Marvel UK, Red Jackal evolved into Destro. Arthur Burkhart voiced Destro for Sunbow's animated series. Destro and Cobra Commander in the series were working together, but again, out of necessity. They'd constantly go at each other, viciously and contemptuously fighting. In one episode called Skeletons in the Closet, we learn that Destro wears his mask in defiance of his ancestors, who were accused of witchcraft, so his cartoon origin differs from his comic book and file card one. It's the same episode that reveals that he and Lady J have a common ancestor. Deke showed us that Destro made it through G.I. Joe the movie and was now EXO to Serpentor, and here he was voiced by Maurice LaMarche. Instead of the Baroness, Destro was with Zorana, for whatever reason. His first action figure was released with Series 2 in 1983. Hasbro's figure designer Ron Rudat said he was inspired by the Man in the Iron Mask. His head was silver until 1988 when it became gold, but that correlated to his affiliation with the Iron Grenadiers. In 1992, his head became silver again. In the next year, 93, Star Brigade Destro came in a spacesuit. In fact, he sells robotic battle armor spacesuits and now apparently, as the card says, calls him Cobra Tech Commander. And the file card also states that he has an armor-plated space fortress, maybe appropriately called Mars. The next version, V5, came in 97 and actually had this incredibly rare leopard version, kind of like the Pimp Daddy version. He then became a rather muted silver, gray, and black for his Valor vs. Venom figure that came packaged with Kamakura. In all, there are over a couple dozen different versions of Destro through the years, and I'm sure there will be more to come, including the upcoming Wave 1 of the 6-inch line. And so that is it, my friends, the story of Destro. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can be one of the first to know when we upload videos just like this each and every week. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.